What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today, I'm going to talk about a brand new show. It's called Brilliant Minds. It's on NBC and Peacock. And these are the first two episodes, episodes 1 and 2. And I've got a black baseball cap on today, a Ninja Turtle shirt, and black sunglasses. So this star shows Zachary Quinto, who I've enjoyed his work before. Across many series. I believe he's out. I think he's an openly gay actor. So shout out for representation. We love representation here. I wish I liked the series more. I do. I feel like I'm a bad gay on this, just not able to be like, well, Brilliant Minds, you should watch this. It's basically if The Good Doctor and New Amsterdam had a baby, and it was this show. It's not very interesting, and the first episode, you're probably like, well, then why did you watch 2 episodes of it? And some other shows you said I only watched 1. I watched 2 because the first episode, Peacock didn't pass through the audio description immediately. So I watched the first episode without audio description. I was interested to hear audio description. So I did the same thing that I did for High Potential, which was I waited for the audio description to see whether or not it would make any difference. Because I was sort of on the fence. I was like, well, this could be better. Maybe. I like New Amsterdam. I actually watched the entirety of that show. And I like The Good Doctor. There are 2 shows that I liked. This doesn't really work for me. This just kind of feels like he's got this quirky thing that makes him an interesting doctor, but he really cares about his patients. It's basically like Freddie Highmore and Ryan Eggold got thrown together and became Zachary Quinto. And I'm like, well, why? You know, I don't feel the dynamic. I feel like New Amsterdam had a stronger ensemble dynamic. I feel like even The Good Doctor had a stronger ensemble dynamic. It had other characters, by the way, for him to play off of. Zachary Quinto is basically with an ensemble of people. I don't know who they are. It's possible they've been on some other shows that I just don't watch. They floated into other things, but he doesn't have like another big name like himself to anchor. Good Doctor, Freddie Highmore started off with Richard Schiff as his, sparring partner, so to speak. New Amsterdam had other actors in it too, like Tyler Labine, who already at that point had been in plenty of movies and television shows to be recognizable enough. Opposite Ryan Eggold, arguably at least at Ryan Eggold's level for New Amsterdam, if not higher. So there were other people in that show. This is led by Quinto, and I would say the second episode does a better job of feeling like it's trying to build out the ensemble more. So possibly if you stick with the show long enough, you'll get to really know the secondary characters that much. There's such a focus on the first character though. So it's going to take time, and I just don't know. It depends on whether or not this show finds an audience as to how much time, because The Good Doctor took time too, because it was very much about Sean, but Sean had to start relating to people there really quickly, which really started fleshing out their characters. So I could be cutting this short and saying, this isn't really, but it's sort of like how I felt about The Irrational last year. I was like, this isn't really anything new. You're not really trying anything new. You're just kind of coming up with something that's very similar to things we've seen before and trying to put a slightly different twist on it. Like in this movie, in this show, he's face blind. So he doesn't recognize faces. All right. It's a big thing for the first episode when he has to help a patient who can't recognize her own kids. She goes through a thing and doesn't recognize her kids anymore, and she thinks they're like strangers, and then child services comes, and so he has to like help her like understand and teach her what face blindness is, and have her just listen to the voices. Do you hear their voices? Um, and I'm like, well, this is only going to work for one episode. He can't be constantly working with people who have the same condition as him. This show would make no sense. But so yeah, the second episode is completely different. There's a basketball player that keeps having like an out of body experience, and freaking out before having surgery, but they need to have surgery. And that's sort of like the A case. And then the B case is this guy that sees dragons, and he's trying to figure out why the two things are existing. And he has a team of younger doctors that are working on things as well. So he has to lead the team. He's the experienced doctor, even though no one else will take him. He's got problems. He's got issues. He's one of those doctors, one of those rebels without a cause, or I suppose with a cause in this case. I don't know. It's not bad. It's kind of like, there's a lot of TV and it's kind of underwhelming. But then again, I felt the same thing about The Irrational. I didn't think The Irrational was bad. It just was like, this feels very procedural to me. This feels very like, I've seen this before. I like Jesse L. Martin, but I don't know that I need to keep watching this over and over. Found was definitely a more interesting premise, but Found also instantly felt like a show where you go, well, this isn't going to last for 7 seasons. This is a very short lifespan on it. This premise is going to be, she can't keep him in the basement. We can't be in like, I just don't see Found with, where it's like season 5, Mark Paul Gosselaar is still in the basement. That's just not going to be the thing. So, yeah, obviously the show has to evolve, but it's the prodigal son problem. It's what Fox had with Prodigal Son, was they had a show with a great premise, right? First season was killer. It was amazing. It was just like, first season, high ratings. Second season, they evolved the show a little bit and done. People were like, no, this concept sucks now. They just try to change it even just a little bit, and they're like, no, it doesn't work anymore. So that's sort of where Found is it's like, I feel like as soon as they change that, I think it's probably maybe like a 3-season show at best. They came up with a great premise, but it's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Brilliant Minds is the kind of show I suppose it could run for a while, because it feels like the possibilities are endless. But it also feels like it could be incredibly inconsequential and just be gone tomorrow. I did kind of vow originally that I wasn't going to watch NBC programming because of the just asinine way that they handle Quantum Leap. So it's not really hard for me to give up on Brilliant Minds, but I'm not doing it vindictively because of Quantum Leap. I'm doing it generally because there's just too much damn TV, and I just don't want to watch this anymore. There's nothing really here that hooks me or pulls me in. Even Zachary Quinto, this is not my favorite role of his. Like everything else he's done before, this was maybe my least favorite thing he's done, is playing this very generic doctor who has this one quirk. It's okay. You're a great actor, dude. Find better roles. But then again, I don't think he's being offered better roles. So he returns home to NBC, which gave him Heroes, where he played Siler. I get it, but doesn't mean I have to watch it. I mean, Jesse L. Martin's back where he did Law and Order, so NBC is just bringing home they're just bringing people home. They're like, hey, you used to be here. Why don't you come on? Even I think, wasn't Saved by the Bell an NBC show? So for Mark Paul Gosselaar to be on Found, it's like, hey, you're back. Welcome. Yeah. So I'm going to give Brilliant Minds a B-. Audio description was fine. It was very average. It's nothing to really be excited about. It got me through the episode, but it's not really. There's some times where I was like, we could put audio description here. I guess not. I mean, you're the expert. There are a couple times like that where I was like, maybe, no, okay. Um, but I wasn't lost either, so there's something to be said for that. But could I have been more immersed in the show? Probably, and especially considering that, and this wasn't really the fault of the people who did the audio description, but considering Peacock didn't get the audio description the day after for the first episode, I was basically everything was riding on the second episode, and this is when you're average, you're average, you know. It's just so I don't know. But I won't ding it and say it's bad. I'm just gonna say it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything to pull me in. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.